Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Cabrera Alvarado, and I'm a project officer of the project ConnectEO at ERSC. This is our second feature of a series of interviews of the ConnectEO project, where this time we have our very special guest, Mr. Florencio UTRERAS from the University of Chile, who is going to introduce us and give us an overview of the Earth observation sector in Chile. So, Mr. Florencio UTRERAS, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sandra. So my name is Sandra said Florencio UTRERAS. I work for the Center for Mathematical Modeling of the University of Chile. The Center for Mathematical Modeling is a center where we develop mathematics with applications to industrial sectors in general, so applied mathematics. Myself in particular, I'm a mathematician. I have worked for a long time in image analysis and data filtering. And so in the last 3 years, 4 years, I've been involved with Earth observation activities, in particular with the use of satellite data, of course, for different industrial applications and of course, for university activities. In particular, with the Copernicus program that we're going to talk about later.
Thank you so much, Mr. UTRERAS. So, to give an insight to our viewers, could you give us an introduction of the sectors and the services in Chile that are suitable for using space technologies?
Okay, so well, Chile is, as you know, is a country that goes from the north near the tropic up to the south near the Antarctica. So we have 4,500 kilometers of land, and in between the Cordillera de los Andes, the Andes Mountains, and the sea. We have a very long coast. So one of the key sectors certainly is the ocean, the surveillance of the ocean, monitoring of marine currents, for instance, of algal blooms and many other phenomena concerning the sea. Of course, that is a very important sector because also it's very suitable for remote observation. Actually, the censoring of the sea is complicated, especially if you have a very, very long coast line as the one we have. As you also know, Chile is a country where the mining sector is very important. About 30% of the GDP is mining. So we have a very large mining industry, in particular in copper, but also gold and lithium and other metals. So we have an extensive industry, and there are lots of applications in there, in prospection, but also in monitoring of subsidence, for instance, for the use of water deposits and many other applications. Chile is also known for fruit exports. We export fruits, a lot of them during the summertime, during our summertime, which is now, by the way. And for that, we have a very extensive agricultural sector from the south of Santiago, mainly to about 1,000 kilometers. That is where most of the agricultural sector is concentrated, but we also have a lot of wineries in the north and of course a large forestry industry in the south. So there are lots of applications in there, as monitoring of cultures and monitoring of water sources and so forth. So there are lots of sectors where we need the use of remote sensing and also of course there are lots of applications in urban monitoring, in of course air pollution. So I think that most of these applications are, of course, not only applicable to Chile, but of course we have our particularities and our needs. And in the last, I'll say, 10 to 15 years, there has been a very strong development of the remote sensing activities in the country. In particular, I would say in the last 5 years, very quick increase of remote sensing, small remote sensing companies. Of course, the deployment of services of large international remote sensing consulting companies. So there are a lot of opportunities. The last year, one of the studies said that the growth of the sector would be around 15%. I don't know the post 2020 studies, but I'm sure that with the pandemic that did not stop because it's very suitable for remote work. So I think that there are lots of opportunities, a lot of people getting interested in, and of course, lots of needs.
And going more specifically and in your experience at the University of Chile and also
Mhm,
the use of Copernicus data, could you
mhm.
please give us a summarize of your activities?
Perfect. So in the University of Chile, we carry on several activities concerning the Copernicus program. The first one is dissemination. We are part of a consortium devoted to dissemination and use of Copernicus data. It's the Copernicus Chile Alliance, where we have partners in several universities, research centers, and in the industry. And we carry on activities where we promote the use of Copernicus data by developing seminars, by giving talks, of course, and in this year we will have also a hackathon. So there is a hackathon coming on in early May. So that's another news that we may talk later in another interview, maybe, or another occasion. But so for that, what we do essentially is to disseminate materials and experiences and cases of use, and of course promote the exchange of experiences among researchers and industry. So we do that through a series of regular seminars and, of course, occasional talks in different conferences. Last year, 20, sorry, the year before, 2019 and 2018, we have carried out also a very large conference for the public sector in coordination with the National Geospace Information System. So we have a large audience among the public and the private sector for those meetings. The other activity we carry on in the University of Chile is that we have the national hub for Copernicus data. So that means that we have a center where we download data from Copernicus satellites, in particular Sentinel-1 and 2 so far, and very soon Sentinel-3 and 5, in order to store the data in our data centers and give access to the public in general, no constraint, no constraint of any kind, uh, free, of course, because Copernicus data is free and open, and we keep it that way. And so that repository keeps data from a window of 45 days online, and then we go on archives. We are planning to develop a longer online period for up to a year, but that will take another maybe 6 months to a year to develop. But we are working on that, and the number of users has grown from 500 last year to 1,000 this year. So we have a lot of people who are seizing the opportunity to download those data and spare their international internet connections, and of course with a local speed that is much faster than going and picking it data from Europe or from somewhere else. So those are the two things we do for Copernicus. And I would say that the public sector is very much aware of the use of Copernicus data. In particular, we have seen applications in environmental monitoring, in geological monitoring, volcano surveillance, and so forth. So I think that the use of Copernicus in the Chilean sector is taking speed, and we are very proud that we have contributed a little in that.
And do you know these activities that seem a lot of activities? Does the Chilean space community have used any European funding project where they seek to partner with the European industry or research sector? Uh, do you know?
Although there, as far as I know, there are still very few projects where we have succeeded in having access to European funding for the particular case of space. The Chilean companies and the universities have experience in accessing H2020 projects and other European funding mechanisms to work with the European companies, in particular for SMEs fundings and so forth. There have been special plans for that. And in particular, several of the organizations working in Chile with the European companies, such as, for instance, Chile, have a long experience in promoting the cooperation between European SMEs and Chilean SMEs. But in the space sector, which is quite new to this kind of funding, I would say that still very early to say. We have applied ourselves a couple of occasions, and we have got one, and we have got access also to just a few joint projects with FPA Cup funding with another European institution. Of course, there is the Galileo Center, which is a European Chilean Association for the promotion of Galileo data that is funded by the European Commission. So there are a few, and people are more or less aware of the importance of working together with European universities, research centers, and companies in order to have access to those funds. But so far, I think that still too early to say what is going to be the result of that. I know there are new funding schemes falling into place right now. The Horizon Europe, where the space funding is going to be important. So we will keep on trying and making sure that people know that there is that opportunity.
Indeed, probably there is this need of raising awareness in both sides that
Absolutely.
possible cooperation of internalization is possible, more that both communities use Copernicus data. But
That's
to do
correct.
so, is there any advice or hint that you would like to give to our audience to do so?
I would say that there are organizations that promote the relationship between European companies and Chilean companies. I have mentioned Chile when they are partnered with us in our Copernicus Relay. But of course, we can offer the support and advice of the Copernicus Relay group that we lead in Chile. And if you are interested of any small or large European companies interested in knowing data, we'll be happy to help. But in general, I would say that there are lots of opportunities in developing applications and services, and there are lots of areas where remote sensing is becoming important in Chile. Of course, agriculture, as I mentioned, is one of them. Mining and water resources is key now that we are facing serious droughts because of the climate change. So I would say that uh, there is a market eager to access, to see what are the opportunities and what remote sensing can do for them. And there are lots of small companies and young people who are eager to work in this area. It's an area that is very interesting because it mainly requires training. It mainly requires human brain. Computers are over there. I mean, more and more accessible, and so the amount of resources that you need to do this is quite small. What you need is a lot of human capacity, and I think that we can find that capacity in Chile and of course in Europe, and we can team up and build good services for our companies.
Indeed, thank you so much for your time and for all this very useful information to, well, to everyone. And let's hope that the ConnectEO project will foster this cooperation between Chile and Europe. And to all of you, thank you so much for tuning up. And the next interview will be in the next 2 months. So please stay tuned and follow us on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Mr. Utreras, for all, and have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, Sandra, for the opportunity, and all friends in Europe are always welcome.
Thank you.